You're very much involved with the Penn State Adaptive Athletic Program, which fills quite a bit of your schedule up. Why are you so deeply involved with that program? And explain what this program is so the viewer understands.
We call it adaptive athletics. That is the common term nowadays for someone who has a physical disability. And how can they compete in a sport? You may remember in Paris, we have the Olympics and the Paralympics for the summertime. And I noticed in this Paris events, NBC covered it. They never showed, when they had their logo, it never just said Olympics or Paralympics. It had both terms on it from the beginning, through the Olympics, through the Paralympics. It's starting to get some recognition, but it's for that physically challenged, whether it's spina bifida, something from birth, cerebral palsy. It could be an accident. And we had some incredible athletes, and given them the opportunity, provide them the opportunity to continue to participate and not be on the sideline wondering why this happened to me or why am I different. Through connections, I get a phone call, and I was getting nowhere with it. I couldn't get Penn State to get going. Penn State obviously was having a lot of different issues going on. They were going through athletic directors and things like that. Because in Penn State, the program had resided in the athletic department, which actually is unique. Most colleges don't have it in their athletic department. Some have it in student affairs. Some have it in their College of Education, like Alabama. And before I continue, premier programs that I was using as a model was the University of Alabama, University of Arizona, University of Illinois, and now Michigan has just put it into afterburners. They weren't much in the beginning, but they have a very strong program. And to give all of them credit, every single one of them would answer my phone call when I call and ask for help or suggestions. And, they use that analogy, a rising tide lifts all ships, and that's what they're looking at. They're trying to get the awareness out there to spread it. So I got a phone call from someone who had donated to this program when the previous director, a woman named Terry Jordan, had run it. And he knew a couple of the people that had donated considerable amount of money. In my world, it's considerable. In the $50 million to Beaver Stadium, it's not. But he knew some of the donors, but he wasn't real versed on the operations side of it. And I could gotten to know it fairly well. So the two of us have been working together. We've built up this team. We've called it Rise Above. And we've built a network. Penn State has hired a director, and it does. Dr. Pat Kraft started up again in the athletic department. This year we have our first group of athletes that are recruited. There are one or two that were here, but they didn't realize there was a program because it was not publicized. We're still having some publicity issues. So our main job in the Rise Above group is an awareness and obviously fundraising. We want to be able to give scholarship, help them defray their college costs, and then help, Penn State, we'll see, how they bring it into the fold with, paying for competitions, travel, and so forth. The NCAA is also wrestling with this because there is no true NCAA program. We don't have regulations like a varsity athlete at Penn State has to worry about with coaches. It will come, but it's not there. So the Olympic Committee or Paralympic Committee and the NCAA are working together to figure out where do we go next. Well, meanwhile, colleges like Michigan and Alabama are running with this program and building it and filling a void for those out there that would like to participate, not only at the elite level to make it to the Paralympics, but at the recreational level. Like I tell people, I'm still waiting for the Phillies to call me. I know they're going to call me, but I was a recreational athlete at Penn State. I said there's 15 men on the Penn State basketball team, but there's probably 15,000 intramural players. And we would like to provide the opportunity for an individual to proceed as far as they can. How far can I take my abilities? Or provide the opportunity to get them out of their dorm, get them out of their apartment, meet another group of people, and become active. And that's what we're working on. There's a community sled hockey team that has a couple of students from Penn State. Coach Godowski has been amazing with his varsity players. We're starting up a wheelchair basketball team. We had our first practice last week. Both the men and women's, particularly the women's team, varsity teams have been very involved, just like Coach Godowski's team. We had a camp this summer for middle school and high school kids on wheelchair basketball, just like the sports camps they have for all the other sports. And Coach Keeger's players came over there, whoever were here in the summer, which was most of the team, She made them run over to the White Building from practice at the BJC, and we were having our final tournament. It was like a 3-day camp, and at the end we had games. When those women walked in,
and this is the women's basketball varsity team
showed up, and they had T-shirts, and we had awards to give at the end of camp. They actually presented the awards to the campers, and they threw some shirts out. The energy level in the White Building went through the roof. It was incredible. And then who came in with them? Well, here comes the Nittany Lion in a wheelchair rolling in.
Wow.
And who came in right before the Nittany Lion? Sue Paterno.
Great.
So Sue Paterno and Dana Harris, Franco's widow, have become very involved in this. So we're just trying to build awareness, build the program. The 6 athletes we have.
So you have 6 now.
We brought in 6.
And they're from all over the country?
All over the world.
And you recruited them to come into this adaptive athletic program in the athletic department at Penn State.
Right.
And they now have a coach for them. And speak to some of these athletes so we can kind of...
Well, we have 6 that we recruited in the traditional recruiting sense. We didn't get everybody we wanted because Penn State doesn't have at least 6, God bless them, they're going out on a limb to support us. They are the...
Pioneers.
They are paving the way to restart this program, and they're putting their faith in us that they came here because these athletes and student athletes could have gone to those other schools I mentioned very easily because they were being recruited by those other ones. One boy came from Israel. He flew in from Israel. One boy came from California. He's Hispanic. His dad is on a work visa, has now moved from California. He was a mechanic there, has moved to Pennsylvania to be near his son just for the support. Also, we need to get some in-state tuition. So Angel is what an athlete. I mean, everything he touches, he can do. He's one of those, wheelchair basketball, wheelchair racing, sled hockey. Coach Godowski has a charity game where he puts his players in sleds. They play the local sled hockey team to raise money for the sled hockey team. Well, one of our recruiting visits, we brought Angel from California in. He scored all the goals on the sled hockey team. Well, most of them. I don't know. He scored all of them. But anyway, so he's here. And then we have a young student from Scranton, from Philadelphia, and a woman who lives here, a co-ed that lives here. Her mother works for Penn State. She came from Columbus, Ohio, and she's a track racer. So we have a Blade Runner who was actually on an Apple Watch ad.
And what's his name?
Jack Cunningham.
And he's from a high school outside of
Philadelphia.
And he's running, he's a fast runner.
Yeah, but you know what? He's also going to play wheelchair basketball. I don't know if he's going to hop in a sled or not, but one of our alums was a former athlete here. Jeff Hintz is a lawyer in Pittsburgh. I'll never forget, he said, I came here to learn sports. I didn't know what I wanted, but the ability to try different sports was key. He ended up going to London for the javelin. In a wheelchair. So he went to the Paralympics in London. So the idea of, you think you may like this, but maybe there's something else out there. If we can give them that opportunity. There's a young lady who was in a bus accident near Harrisburg. She's still, a couple years ago, she's paralyzed from the waist down. She's, obviously the mental aspects of going through her life has completely changed. She will probably come here next year. She wants to play tennis. So there's those things. One of the things that really opened my eyes, and I just throw it out there, a very good friend of mine from my Navy days, when I retired, he stayed in. He made Admiral. He ended up falling. He became paralyzed in 2018. He and I played a lot of basketball together. He played basketball at the Naval Academy. He was about 2 years younger than me, but we were good friends, and it seemed like everywhere I went, he showed up 2 years later. It was fun. And when he became paralyzed, he got into the sporting world. He was an athlete to begin with. So all this kind of built up, and he opened my eyes to a lot, helped me a lot. He actually wanted the job up here, but it was COVID time and it was a mess, so he didn't come.
And so this group, you guys are all volunteers. This Rise Above, you guys just decided to start a nonprofit as a booster club. It's just kind of, you're raising money, you're holding events. You had Sue Paterno at a major event this summer. But what, all of you, there's 6, there's 10, there's 12 of you guys, mostly retired, some are in full-time careers. Yeah. What's that force pulling you forward to help?
Well, those 6, none of us are the same. It's almost like a basketball team. You have guards that can't be forwards and forwards that can't be a guard. So out of the 6 of us, okay, my background. The other gentleman who we kind of got it started, he called me up. he just had a passion for it, and I'd rather have him tell him. But from my observations, he just had a passion. It's just in his heart. His heart's the size of Texas, and he was over. He had, through acquaintances, he knew the coach, the previous director, Terry Jordan, and that's what really, just through a friendship, he saw the world, and it just got his attention. He got to go to Beijing, so forth. The other people, one was a participant in this program years ago. On the more on the recreational side, we have a couple of the former superstar athletes who are more as advisors to us. But the day in and day out workers, so I talked about those three. The recreational worker, he's active in the Alumni Association, young man, graduated in 2012 from Penn State. I reached out to the alumni magazine, the Penn Stater. I said, do you guys know we got this program going? And they put an article in about our director. Our director's name is Brenna O'Connor. So they interviewed her, and it was in the magazine, and that found a guy named Joe Klaus, who has a passion out of the goodness of his heart to help fundraise for handicap programs. So and he's a Penn Stater. He was on the golf team at Penn State. I mean, he checked a lot of boxes in this program. And then we have a gentleman who's just a Penn State grad, who is an accountant, so he's our treasurer. Lives out in Pittsburgh, has been very active in different philanthropic events, and just loves sports, and just got smitten by this. And the other gentleman, his daughter was born with spina bifida. He raised her and other children, but she ended up playing 5 years of wheelchair basketball for Arizona, was a coach and a captain of that team. So getting her to different athletic events and doing things. He's in charge of the air ambulance, the helicopters down in Hershey, our medical hospital. So he has a wealth of knowledge, of experience of being in that world for 20 plus years. So it's a very diverse group that comes together with a sole purpose. And we're not all the same, which is very helpful. A gentleman told me one time, and I steal this line all the time, in the sports world, this event, this push is kind of like the Title IX for our generation, for this era, not our generation, for this era. It's a real eye-opener to people and we may have to kind of force it a little bit to make people, but I don't think Penn State needs to be forced. They just need to be pulled along and shown what the opportunities are. The opportunity just to be them and not to second guess themselves. But like I said, the fun they can have, the opportunities, and to see them smack talking each other, just like I did in my days, it makes you go, okay, we're getting somewhere.